Good afternoon to one and all. The definition of credible sources changes depending upon the discipline. But in general, for academic writing, a credible source is one that is unbiased and backed up with evidences. Today, the Research Council of our college is organizing a webinar on publication in credible journals. I hope this webinar will enlighten our knowledge in this area. Let's start the session by seeking the blessings of the Lord Almighty. For the prayer, I invite Ms. Sina, research scholar.
ലോകം മുഴുവൻ സുഖം പകരാനായി സ്നേഹദീപമേ മിഴി തുറക്കൂ. ലോകം മുഴുവൻ സുഖം പകരാനായി സ്നേഹദീപമേ മിഴി തുറക്കൂ. കദന നിവാരണ കനിവിന്നുറവേ കാട്ടിൻ നടുവിൽ വഴി തെളിക്കൂ. ലോകം മുഴുവൻ സുഖം പകരാനായി സ്നേഹദീപമേ മിഴി തുറക്കൂ.
I invite the convener of the webinar, Dr. Joby Paul, Assistant Professor from the Research and Postgraduate Department of Botany, St. Thomas College, Thrissur, for the welcome address. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you each and every one of you being here with today's webinar on publication in credible journals. As we know, the research is a systematic investigation in order to establish facts and reach new conclusions. A crucial point in this regard is the communication with public through scholarly articles, and it requires high perseverance and hard work. The revolutionary online platforms provide better opportunity for high impact publications, indexes, and matrices. In this context, the Research Council of St. Thomas College Autonomous Thrissur is organizing this webinar on publication in credible journals. We are pleased to welcome Mar Tony Nilakavil, the Auxiliary Bishop of Thrissur Archdiocese and beloved manager of our St. Thomas College Autonomous Thrissur, as the chief guest, and he will be inaugurating this webinar. He has his PhD in theology from the Catholic University of Leuven, Belgium, and also many international research publications in his credit. His passion of research resulted in the establishment of Pastoral Animation Research and Outreach Center at Thrissur. He is constantly supporting and encouraging the research in our institution. On behalf of the Research Council, I welcome you, Father. Reverend Dr. Martin K., our principal, is presiding this session and has PhD in literature from Gandhigram University, Tamil Nadu, and many research publications in his credit. He is also a constant supporter of research and publications. On behalf of the Research Council, I welcome you, Father. Our research person, Mr. Sanjo, Librarian of St. Thomas College, Autonomous Thrissur, is currently pursuing his PhD in Scientometrics at Baridasan University, Tamil Nadu. He has publications in various international journals and expertise in library science, publication ethics, and indexing systems. On behalf of the Research Council, I welcome you, sir. With gratitude, I welcome Dr. Chako VM, Dean of Research, and all the vice principals, deans, head of departments, research guides, and scholars for this webinar. We are extremely happy to welcome all the professors, research guides, and research scholars of various institutions across Kerala and other states. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I invite Dr. Father Martin K., the principal of St. Thomas College, Thrissur, for the presidential address. Welcome, sir.
His Excellency Martonimi Rangavil, the manager of St. Thomas College Autonomous Thrissur, Mr. Sanjo, the resource person of the day, our librarian, Dr. Joby Paul, the convener of the program, Dr. Chako VM, the Dean of Research, my dear professors, teachers, delegates, and research scholars and friends. So we are on a new webinar on the topic the credible journals, publication in credible journals. So when you are trying to publish your article, your paper in a journal, certain questions comes up in our minds. Whether it is an indexed journal or where is it indexed? Is the journal included or indexed in the major bibliographic databases for the field? Or you may also have whether it is a peer-reviewed journal. What is its impact factor? Or is whether it is scopus indexed? So like that, there are certain questions coming up to our mind. So since we know that the world only give weightage for the articles, papers published in scopus reviewed or peer reviewed or indexed journals, and precisely that is the relevance of this webinar. I hope that with this session we will be able to have a good an understanding of the journals. How will you be able to publish in such journals? And our librarian, the resource person of the day, Mr. Sanjo, is an expert in this field, and he has already handled this class, the same topic in many institutions. And hence, I would like to appreciate the initiative taken by our research department, especially the Dean of Research, Dr. Chako VM and Dr. Joby Paul, and wish you all the success in this program, and wishing you that you may have a great session ahead. Let me conclude. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Father. With utmost respect, I welcome His Excellency Martoni Neelankaval, Auxiliary Bishop of Archdiocese of Thrissur and Manager of St. Thomas College Autonomous, Thrissur, for the inaugural address. He has been with us in all our ventures and is our pillar of strength. He always guides us with all his blessings. I invite you, His Excellency, for the inaugural address.
Dear respected Principal, Dr. Martin K., Dr. Chako VM, Dean of Research, Dr. Joby Paul, the convener of this webinar, and Mr. Sanjo Jose, the Librarian, St. Thomas College Autonomous, and the resource person of the day, dear professors, research guides, research students, my dear friends. I'm extremely happy to be part of this webinar, at least for some time, because I feel myself being in an environment of research. I've been in the field of teaching and research for so many years, but now I am in a very different environment. And research field is always very enchanting for most of us, and I'm sure that is why you are interested in this webinar, because it takes us to new horizons in knowledge, in practical applicability, and so on. Now, this webinar has got a very specific aim of equipping ourselves in publishing our researches in credible journals. Of course, I'm sure that's one area of publishing. I'm sure there are many of you who would be aspiring to publish some scholarly works, books. But research journals, publishing in research journals, credible journals as it is put here, is a very challenging one, because every research journal will have its own ethos, its own standard, guidelines, requirements, and so on. They even send you, once you prepare to publish in a journal, they will even send you a writing pattern or pattern they really expect. And maybe there are so many other things, certainly you are going to learn it from today's webinar. But as our principal already said, the publishing in credible journals is very important. Now we are living in a virtual world where anything and everything is presented as knowledge and true knowledge and scientific knowledge. Take, for example, the videos you listen to in the YouTube. How can you really assess whether the veracity of what you listen? It has become very difficult. Very difficult. Not only the virtual world, politics, economics, in all different areas, you find there's little interest. Media, for example, in general, there is little interest to make sure the veracity of what you say, the truth, whether what you read or write or listen are true or not, whether it is scientific or not. And that is perhaps one reason why scholars, thinkers call this era as a post-truth era. People are little interested in truth and more emphasis on convincing whatever you say in whatever medium possible. And therefore, truth has become something of the past. You look for mere establishing acceptance and so on. And here I think all our attempt is to be scientific, to be credible. So you are credible only if you are able to publish in credible journals. And there are several indices where you can you see the list in which the journals are considered as credible. And as our principal has already asked you several questions, all these are criteria before you commit to publish in a particular journal or under a particular publisher. It's very important. Of course, it is also important whether you are what you have published reaches to the scientific community in its maximum. And therefore, we have all those impact analysis and so on, which I'm not technically very good at. You know that better, or maybe our Sanjo sir will inform you better. So all these aspects has to be taken very seriously before we really commit ourselves to publish our research. And I'm sure this webinar is going to be very informative. And I hope that what you learn from this webinar will reflect in your research, first of all. Of course, there should be first a research, and then you publish your research findings. So let this reflect in your research and your methodology and your method of publishing and your wider acceptance. With these words, I wish all the best to Dr. Sanjo Jose, our librarian, and also all those who participate in this webinar. And with your permission, I declare this research webinar inaugurated. Thank you very much.
Thank you, His Excellency. Thank you for your kind and motivational words. Now, let us move on to the technical session. The resource person of the day is Mr. Sanjo Jose, Librarian of St. Thomas College, Autonomous Thrissur. Mr. Sanjo has worked as project staff in IISc Bangalore. He is also the consultant of Valtech, a French company, and Crealis, a Spanish company. He has digitalized more than 1 million manuscript leaves. He was the training manager of EIS, a US company for South Asia. Formerly, he was the librarian and assistant professor in library and information science at Rajagiri College, Kochi. With great pleasure, we welcome you, sir, to take over the session. Welcome, sir.
Thank you. So good afternoon. I'm sharing my screen. Hope you can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
So our topic is about publishing in credible journals. And myself, Sanjo, as introduced, and I am the librarian of St. Thomas College, Thrissur. So there are a few disclaimers before we start the presentation. This one is mainly intended for those who are doing research in science stream, for those who are doing research in social science, arts, and humanities. We have a separate session tomorrow, that's on Friday. So please watch out for that session, as this will be dedicated only for science scholars. And I'll be discussing about a few examples, and these examples are actually real, and they are not intended to tarnish anyone in person. So it's only for the sake of making the concepts clear. So let's start. Why are we publishing? Mainly, we have got 4 objectives in the Indian context, or at least in the context of academia in Indian context. First thing is regarding the research scholars. It is one of the prerequisite of a PhD degree, and I think this condition may be removed in near future because in favor of preprints, and we will see what are preprints in this presentation. And second thing is for guideship. That means who are already qualified with a PhD, and when you are going for applying for guideship or supervisor, these publications are again a prerequisite. Then third thing is for career advancement scheme. And there is a fourth category who are passionate about research and publishing it as frequent. Now, I have given a table here, and this table will give an overview what a researcher think about publishing article nowadays, and what's the actual time which will take for them to do in a quality journal. So the question is how long it will take to publish an article from conceptualization to publishing level. So I have listed out the main activities, and the second column laid out about what researchers expect, or at least what the fake or predatory journals are doing, or the time taken by them to achieve that activity. And the third column shows the actual time required by quality journals. So the first thing is about writing manuscript. And usually writing a quality manuscript will take at least 1 to 3 months. But most researchers think that, okay, it can be written within a week or a fortnight. Second, from the submission to journal and response from the publisher, the researchers think that they can get a response within a 3 to 5 days from the journal from the date of submission. But it may take, in the case of quality journals, it may take from 2 weeks to 3 months or even more. And regarding the peer review process, it may take at least 2 weeks for predatory journals, or that's the expectation of researchers. But Actually, it may take from 2 to 6 months. And regarding the revisions can happen many times, and most of our recent day research is saying that it can happen within 2 5 days. That's all, and only within 1 or 2 revisions, everything is done. But in usual cases, each revision may take at least 1 month, and the copy editing, that that process is happening at the side of publisher, and researchers think that it can happen within only 1 or 2 days, but actually it may take 1 month or more. So the total time a researcher expects to publish an article from the date of submission is almost within a 1 month, and the actual time for publishing an article is somewhere near about 9 to 12 months. Okay, it may be varied according to the journals, so I'm not giving a hard and fast rule here, but usually to publish a quality article, it will take 6 months to 1 year or even more. So what can you do to avoid this delay in editorial processes? You can deposit it in the repositories before publishing, like archive, bioarchive, chemarchive, medarchive, etc. And you have a mechanism known as Sherpa Romeo for searching the preprint policies of a journal. So I'll show the screenshots of few preprint repositories. This is archive, and it's maintained by Cornell University, USA. And this particular preprint archive has right now more than 19 lakh preprints in their repository, and this particular archive deal with the preprints in physics, mathematics, computer science, quantitative biology, quantitative finance, statistics, electrical engineering, system science, and economics. And you may be thinking why I am saying it is or pronouncing it as archive, because here the spelling in the middle, that is X, is pronounced as chi, or its Greek letter chi, not X in the English alphabet. So that's why it is known as archive. Next is a bioarchive, and this is a print server in biology. And for those who have doubt what actually preprint is a version which we are submitting to a journal. That means not a peer-reviewed version. And this is chemarchive, and this is maintained by Cambridge University. And the pioneers are the most important organizations in the discipline of chemistry, like ACS, American Chemical Society, and Royal Society of Chemistry of UK, Chinese Chemical Society, the Chemical Society of Japan, and the German Chemical Society, etc. They support this archive. Next is a meta-archive, and this preprint server is for health sciences. And this is supported by none other than the prestigious British Medical Journal and Yale University, and it's maintained by Cold Spring Harbor Laboratory. This bioarchive and meta-archive are supported by the grants of the Zuckerberg Leslie Foundation. That's the foundation of Mark Zuckerberg and his wife. And you might be thinking whether it is possible to deposit your preprints into a preprint archive before submitting it into a journal. Yes, it's possible. See, this is the website of Nature, one of the most important or most respected multidisciplinary journal. Here they are saying that Nature portfolio journals encourage posting of preprints of primary research manuscripts on preprint surveys. authors or institutional website, and open communication between researchers, whether on community preprint surveys or preprint commenting platform. That means without any fear, you can post your preprints on any of preprint archives in your specific discipline. And this is the website of Science and the editorial policy of Science Journal. That is another important journal in the discipline of science. They are also saying that we do support posting of research papers on not-for-profit preprint services such as archive, bioarchive, etc., etc. So go on and post your manuscripts. If they are good, go on posting it. And I'll be just showing a few websites which will, I'm switching off my video to save the bandwidth. Okay. Before going to further discussions, I'll just show you a website. This website is maintained by, or this is actually a part of Lsavir. And here you can see credit author statement. What is credit author statement? Okay, credit stands for contributor roles taxonomy. This was introduced with the intention of recognizing individual author contributions, reducing authorship disputes, and facilitating collaboration. The idea came about following a 2012 collaborative workshop led by Harvard University and Wellcome Trust, etc., etc. And you can see the classification or the taxonomy of contributors. See, you can see the terms for the contributors. First one is conceptualization. That means the conceptualization stands for the ideas, formulation or evaluation or reaching research goals, etc. And second one is methodology. I think you can read it for yourself. I'm not going deeply into this. Anyway, there are almost 14 or 15 kinds of such contributor roles. So here it is described vividly: software validation, formal analysis, investigation, resources, data curation, and regarding research reporting, writing original draft, writing review and editing, visualization, supervision, etc., etc. So how to write these contributor roles in your article? Here they have given a sample credit author statement. See here, Frank San is responsible for the conceptualization and methodology and software of a particular article, while Priya Singh is responsible for data curation and writing original draft preparation. Wang Wu has handled the visualization and investigation part, while Jan Jensen was the supervisor. Like that, it goes on like that. So I'll demonstrate this in an actual article. Here, you're going to see an article in F1000 Research. This is a publishing platform, and in this particular publishing platform, we can see how this other contributor roles are described. Okay. Here you can see many articles. Okay, and this is one of the article. We'll take the case of this particular article. Okay. Usually in all other journal resources or journals, peer review is happening behind the curtain. But in this particular publishing platform, this platform is actually maintained by Taylor and Francis Group. here you can see open peer review on this side. Okay, and the other details are given here. I'll magnify the screen to, okay, see here. G. Selvaraj is responsible for the conceptualization, formal analysis, methodology, validation, etc. While Kalimurthy is responsible for data creation, formal analysis, methodology, etc. Then Peselbe is responsible for conceptualization, funding acquisition, etc. And Way is responsible for these many things. So, why this is done? This is to avoid authorship disputes at a later stage or while writing. So please be sure that, or please make sure about your contributorship before writing an article. And let's come to the peer review part. Okay, so these are the versions submitted by the authors. Obviously, version 1 will be the first one, or the submitted version, and we call this one as peer review, sorry, preprint. And what the peer review has said, okay, you can see the reviewer report here. Here Sugana Devi Sakya is the reviewer, and she has approved the manuscripts with few reservations. The others put a great effort, etc., etc. You can see the reservations by her and the comments like minor revisions, etc. And usually this will be a questionnaire which a reviewer should answer. And after giving this particular review, the authors will revise this paper, and this will be the second version. You can click it for yourself and see it and read the review here again. She has reviewed and approved it. Okay, and this is the first reviewer has cleared it. Now it is going to the second reviewer. Okay, now what this particular reviewer has said. The second reviewer is Durvasi Dinesh, and he's from, the name suggests he is an Indian, but he's working in Czech Republic. And again, he has also approved the manuscript with reservations, and he has given certain recommendations here. And it goes on like this. And at last, 3 of them will approve this. And this is the final version approved by the reviewers, and they have, thanks to the authors for, they have said that thanks to the authors for revised version. So, and this is the published version of this particular article. Usually these things are happening behind the curtain in case of usual or conventional journals, but this particular platform is meant for open peer review. So why I shared this particular information to you is, this is the real scenario behind a real journal peer review. Okay. Now, I'll share my slide again. Okay. In science stream, before publishing your article, you should think that whether your writing, whether your research is patentable or not. That's a big, that may be a big breakthrough for you, because you already completed your manuscript, and if it is patentable, go for patenting. Okay, but please remember that before patenting, sorry, Patenting may take years. That means from 2 to 10 years, at least in the Indian context. Okay, so uh, we'll be back soon. Okay, patentable or not. Okay, now let's see whether this whether your research is patentable or not. Okay, if it is patentable, or if you want to go for patent, don't publish your research, because if you are going for patent, they will search for a prior art search. So if you have already published your article, it will lose its novelty, and this novelty is a major criteria for patentability. So if you are intending to patent your research, please don't publish it. But remember, patenting may take years. And as you can see in this particular patent certificate, see, the application for patent was submitted in 2009, and the patent was granted in 2018. That means it took almost uh, 9 years to submit this, or to grant this patent. So, okay, if you want to commercialize your experiment or your research, go for patents, or if you don't want, just publish it. Now, anyway, patents are a rich source of information. While doing literature review, please review patents in your field too, if they are available, because inventors will not write articles on this, but on their inventions, because to avoid the prior art search. And from a UGC report, it is, they are saying that patents are the largest single source of technical information. It is also well accepted that more than 80% of the technical information covering patents or inventions are reported only disclosed in patents and are not reported elsewhere. So please review patents in addition to scientific articles, because sometimes you may be reinventing the wheel. Okay, now if it is not patentable, okay, publish it in a journal, no problem. But researchers must know the top journals in their domain. This is a must, because otherwise we cannot call ourselves a researcher in a particular domain. How can we identify the top journals in our field? We can identify them mostly through the literature review, right? And We can select the journals where we have taken our significant part of our review or our research matches. So this is the easy way to identify the journals. So it's better to publish in those journal itself, and I think that will be the most suitable journal for publishing your research. And if you don't know where to publish, there are tools for publishing, for finding journals. I'll just show you few tools for to help you to publish your research. There are two tools. One is there are actually many tools by publishers. We are going to demonstrate two tools here today. The first one I'm going to introduce is Lsavir Journal Finder. Okay, I'm going. What you have to do is you have to just enter the paper title and abstract, and you can find a list of journals published by this particular publisher, which may be suitable to publish your research. So I am giving the title of my article, and I am giving the abstract of my article. Okay, now I just given the paper title and a paper abstract. Now just click the find journals. See here they have given a list of journals which are suitable to publish my article. As my article is regarding biology and regarding chilies, the first suggestion is Sanjo Horticulture. Second is Journal of Applied Research on Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, Annals of Agricultural Sciences. Likewise, 49 journals are listed here. It goes on like that. Okay, here you can select the journals according to their site score, impact factor, acceptance rate, time to first decision, time to publication, etc. See here itself you can see the variety in journals or the variety in the impact factor of the journals. The first one is having the site score of 5, while the second one is having the 4.8. One other thing is, okay, you can sort this by best match, journal name, site score, impact factor, acceptance rate, time to first decision, time to publication, etc. So this is a good way to find a journal in a particular website, publisher website. Here you can see the acceptance rate also. That means if 100 articles were submitted in this journal, 14 articles were accepted. That is, the acceptance rate is 14. And the average time for their first decision is 5 weeks. That means after your submission, you have to wait for 5 weeks. And time to publication is 3 weeks after that. And it goes on like that. See, here there are journals without impact factor also. You can select them also. It's not a problem. But it's always better to go with the journals which are having an impact factor. Now we'll see one more journal publisher which is having a facility for journal suggesting journals. Let's see journal suggester of Springer. So this is a platform of the publisher Springer Nature. Actually, Nature was acquired by Springer, and now their name is Springer Nature. And the service offered by them to identify the journals is journal suggestor. In the same way which we have given the title and abstract, I'm going to give title here and an abstract here. Okay, I have given the title and abstract and just asked to suggest journals. See, I got a list of journals. Okay, the subject was Sanjo metrics, and the first result which I got itself is a journal name with the Sanjo metrics. This is a discipline, specialty discipline in the field of library information science, dealing with the quantification of science publications. And you can see furthermore journals here. They are also showing impact factor, first decision, that they are showing it in days, in contrast to the weeks in Lsavir, and the acceptance rate also. So in this way, you can find journals which are suitable for your manuscript. Now, while selecting these journals, you can see journals with open access options also. As here, see journals that offer gold OA, or I'll select only those journals with gold OA. Please don't select for gold open access, because here you have to pay an exorbitant fee for publishing your article. So it is better to publish in journals with subscription. Also, you can go for journals with gold OA if there are any kind of offers, something like that. So let's go back to the slide. Okay. And while submitting your manuscript, please do a similarity check for yourself. This will reduce the delay of editorial process or even save your article from outright rejection. Because if there is some kind of similarity which goes beyond 5% or 10% itself, some journals may reject your articles, or sorry, reject your manuscripts outright. So it's better to check your manuscript for plagiarism using Turnitin, because most of the publishers are using Turnitin. And if the similarity percentage is about 10%, please revise and bring down to at least less than 10. It's better to bring down to less than 5%, but at least 10%, about 10% is not at all desirable. So don't select the journals which ask you to check for plagiarism yourself and send them the similarity reports, which means that they are inferior ones. Because I have seen many research scholars coming to me and asked to check plagiarism for ourselves, and I'll ask them why. They will say that, sir, I am submitting the manuscript to a journal, and that journal have asked me to submit plagiarism report. If that journal can't afford a plagiarism checker, that means they don't have any credible publication system. That's for sure. So please don't do uh, plagiarism check on behalf of journal publishers. And one other thing is that you can even manipulate the plagiarism reports before. So how these publishers will come to know about that? So regarding this, we are offering a consultancy at St. Thomas College Library. If you're skeptical about journals, St. Thomas College Library can help you. And we are also providing consultancy to external researchers for a fee. We are also offering similarity checking services for a fee. For that, please contact us at our Gmail email stctlib@gmail.com. So I've already shown you the editorial process is somewhat lengthy. So to reduce the duration of editorial process, what you can do is, okay, get your basic concept right and write your manuscript in good and simple language, avoiding figures of speech, because none of the articles will allow to write figures of speech in scientific articles. And cite the references accurately and the desired style as stipulated by the journal publisher. That's a big thing, because many of the journal publishers have got their own style, or at least a stipulated style. If you are submitting your article in a different style, they may reject, or they will ask you to revise your article. And after that, for this purpose, use reference management software like Mendeley, Zotero, EndNote, Citavi, Roughworks, etc. And before submitting your article, you should check for the journals in Web of Science, and please avoid journals in emerging source citation index within Web of Science. Please submit in those journals which are in Web of Science. If they reject, submit it to another journal by changing the reference style. Okay. Because most of these journals have got different citation styles. So you can change it easily by using these reference management softwares. If all possible journals are rejecting, submit it to journals indexed in Scopus. See, that means after rejection in Web of Science index journals, then only submit in Scopus index journals, because Scopus index journals uh, are considered to be at second level. And avoid the journal which ceased to index by Scopus, because you can see the period of indexing in the Scopus database. So this is the website of Zotero, reference management software. I will show some of the websites of uh, reference management software packages. This is of Zotero. Mendeley is provided by Lsavir. This is by Citavi. Citavi is more prevalent in Europe. This is EndNote. EndNote is provided by Clarivate Analytics. They are also the uh, maintainers of Web of Science. This is Roughworks. Roughworks is provided by the company called Prequest. And if your articles are rejected from Scopus Index journals, so then please give to journals in UGC Care List Group 1. But please be aware that the articles published in UGC Group List 1, they are not at all considered for ranking or the accreditation purposes like NERF or NAC, because for these purposes only the Scopus indexed and Web of Science index journals will be counted. So if possible, only go for the journals listed in Web of Science or Scopus only. And there is one more problem with careless Group 1 journals, that is, they can lose their position anytime. And there are many clone journals of these particular journals on the web, on the World Wide Web. And these are the usual editorial actions. In their review reports, reviewers make one of 4 recommendations, like accept without revisions, that is very rare, request minor revisions such as adjusting tables and figures, rewriting sections, etc. Request major revisions like that could involve repeating experiments. And the fourth option is obviously a rejection. And because of the fear of these particular uh, issues, or the problems from the problems like long response time from the editor, fear of multiple revisions, and even rejection, and ignorance about the selection of top quality credible journals, many of our researchers go towards rapid publication process on a payment in any of the fake, clone, predatory, zombie journals. And we are going to see such journals now. So before that, I'll just give you a little small piece of advice on this, because never publish in journals which are published by companies for profit organizations and little known NGOs. And never publish in journals which are demanding money for publication. Never publish in journals which are promising rapid publication. Because as I said, rapid publication is not the right way of science. And I just want to show about an example about emerging source citation index and discontinued indexing. Because never believe a journal by its website, because they will claim everything in this world, because they claim to be having impact factors and indexed in all databases. Select only those journals in Web of Science and Scopus. As I said earlier, journals listed in these 2 indexing databases may overlap, but check for their present status in the respective database. I'll show an example of Oriental Journal of Chemistry. Okay, you can see here they have claimed that their journal is abstracted and indexed in Clarivate Analytics. There is no such database. Crossref, there is no such database. Request, all these are not databases, these are publishers or some other kind of things. And they claim to have indexed in emerging sources citation index. That's true, but there is a problem. See, this is Web of Science master journalist, and I have searched for Oriental Journal of Chemistry, and I got the result. See, Oriental Journal of Chemistry, and it belongs to the Web of Science collection emerging sources citation index. What's the problem in indexing emerging sources citation index? Just go to the website of UGC Care and you can see a response to a frequently asked question in the website of UGC Care, that journals included in ESCI, that is Emerging Sources Citation Index, are not part of UGC Care List Group 2. That means your articles will not be considered as credible. So please don't go for journals which are indexed in Emerging Sources Citation Index. Then I checked this journal in Scopus also. This journal is well indexed in Oriental Journal of Chemistry, but the problem is right now this journal is discontinued in Scopus, as you can see here. The problem is many of our researchers, they will just see this first part only. They won't go further to see this second part. That means coverage discontinued in Scopus. You can see a notice or note in the UGC Care website that journals which are discontinued inactive from above databases will not find a place in Group 2 of UGC Care list. That means here you can see that it's discontinued. So this journal does not belong to Group 2 UGC Care, neither in Web of Science or nor in Scopus. So, and I'll remind you about one more thing, that if you have published your article, please don't be under the impression that, okay, my paper has been published, because there is something known as retraction. Life cycle of a journal, or life cycle of scientific article does not end with publication in standard journals. There are chances for retraction, and retraction is actually not removal of article, but it is actually a statement, only a statement that this article has been retracted. Okay, now let's go to the second part of our presentation, that is regarding predatory publications. So I'm going to share my screen. So here you can see the actual site of Current Science, and this is the website of Current Science. See, and this is also Current Science. Can you see any difference here? Yes, there is a difference. That is, here it is currentscience.co.in, but here it is currentscience.ac.in. The actual website is currentscience.ac.in, and they have given a predatory journal alert here. But this one is a hijacked website, and this IP address is located in Ukraine. Okay, so what is the peculiarity of this website? They ask money for publishing this website. Now, there are many other clones or similar journals with name Current Science. You can see the another Current Science here with the URL currentscience.org, and its IP address is located in Turkey. This is another journal. It's e-Current Science. You cannot see the E in a single look, but it's hidden behind the logo. And this is e-Current Science. And this is also not a credible journal. It's a clone journal. This is Journal of Current Science, ISSN approved international journal. See, I must tell you that ISSN is not a criteria for the quality of a journal. It's just a bibliographic control tool. That's all. And many of in the case of books, ISBN is also a bibliographic control tool. That's all. The quality of the content cannot be determined by ISSN or ISBN. So please don't be under the impression that ISSN is everything or ISBN is everything. No, that's not the thing. And this is another journal called International Journal of Current Science. They are also using the name Current Science here. I'll show one more predator regarding Springer. This is actual website of the publisher Springer, and they are publishing many journals and books, as you can see on the screen. But there is another publisher known as with the same name, Springer Publishing Company. This is the website of that company, and this was some 3 years back, and now this is the fresh website of this company. Anyway, they are using the same logo, as you can see here. And this is also a impersonator, or this is also a clone website. Now, another thing is Indian Citation Index. Many of the journals are claiming that they are indexed by Indian Citation Index. Indian Citation Index is actually not a credible source because earlier Indian Citation Index was used in NAC manual, etc. But nowadays, this particular citation index has been removed from the NAC manual because of the poor quality. So, regarding predatory open access publishing, almost 11,000 fake open access journals have been identified. And the fact is that even if science done in India has not grown much in the last few years, India successfully played a vital role in polluting the scientific literature with trash. Indian researchers publishing in predatory journals could be willing or ignorant participants. Either way, fake journals provide the best medium to publish substandard and even highly unethical work, plagiarized content with falsified and or fabricated data and manipulated images. So, what's the extent of pseudo journals? That is 27% of the publishers of fake scientific journals are from India, and that's a very shame for us. The estimated geographical spread of predatory journals, predatory article authorship in terms of absolute numbers per year of articles is highly skewed, that with India at the top. And 35% of authors are from India, followed by Nigerian authors. See the difference between the first prize winner and the second prize holder. That is, first prize winner, that is, Indian authors are 35 and the Nigerians are only 8. There is a difference of 27%. It's a huge margin, okay? And you can see the extent of pseudo journals in the last line. And this was exposed in a study in 2015. Because of this, UGC has laid out the promotion of academic and integrity and prevention of plagiarism in higher education institution regulations in July 2018. And uh, after that, on 14th June 2019, UGC approved list of journals has been replaced by UGC care list. And this is explanation given by Bhushan Padwardhan, the vice chairman of UGC, for starting the UGC care. That is the same estimates which I have provided in the previous slide. And this is the website of UGC care list, and you can search the website yourself. This is the website a few years back, that is in the starting, and now see, earlier there was no clone journals here, but now we can see the alert regarding list of clone journals here. And if you search in Google for Kerr journals, you can see a search result kerjournals.in. First one is an advertisement and second one is a search result. And the first search result is actually the original address of UGC care list. And now let's see the site of this impersonator. This is the fake website or the website of the fake UGC care journals. Now, within the UGC care list, there are two groups, Group 1 and Group 2, which, as we have already mentioned. And within Group 2, we can see Web of Science and Scopus index journals. And in Group 1, we can find journals qualified through UGC care protocols. And 1 year back, this was the number of journals in sciences, that is 333. But now the number has reduced to 298. That means many of the journals which were considered to be credible earlier has been removed and many were added later. So this is the website of UGC, the master journal list of Web of Science, website of Scopus, and this is the number of journals indexed in Web of Science and Scopus. Web of Science contains 24,000 plus journals, while Scopus contained more than 41,000 sources. Now, is this CARE website is credible, or are all the journals indexed or included in UGC CARE list are credible? I'll say no, because let's see one of them. See, this is International Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Drug Research. Okay, and this is the website of that particular journal. What's the problem with that? See, this journal is international, but they are concerned only with Indian researchers. How? See, International Journal of Pharmaceutical Sciences and Drug Research is a bi-monthly international published online journal devoted to pharmaceutical and allied sciences. IJPSDR is included in UGC CARE list of journals published by UGC for the purpose of CAS and direct recruitment of teachers and other academic staff as required under UGC. See, if this is actually an international journal, why should they display this notice? That means this is actually not an international journal in scope, and this is a predatory journal. So, regarding predatory open access publishing, a lot of journals and publishers which operate mostly only on web, which are potential, possible, or probable predatory scholarly open access publishers. And this was identified first by Geoffrey Beale. And their intention is to deceive authors and readers, and a lack of transparency in their operations and processes can be seen. And Geoffrey Beale is a librarian and associate professor at Aurora Library in University of Colorado, Denver. He was the first person to proclaim the world that there are predatory journals or fake journals or pseudo journals. Even though there were many scientists out there, none of them were ready to proclaim that. And he maintained a blog known as Scholarly Open Access, which was hosted in WordPress, and later it was transformed into a website known as Scholarly OA. But later that website was closed due to the lobbying of these predatory publishers. And what's the peculiarity of these predatory publishers, or how can you identify these pseudo journals? They use names such as, which often sound grand, like adjectives like world, global, international, etc. Their websites look amateurish or give little information about the organization behind it. And predatory publishers use deception to appear legitimate, entrapping researchers into submitting their work and then charging them to publish it. And many of them purport to be headquartered in the US, UK, Canada, Australia, but really they hail from Pakistan, India, or Nigeria. See, there is no problem if they are situated in Pakistan, India, or Nigeria. But the problem is they are saying that they are at US, UK, and Canada, but actually they are from these places. Most of the websites contain evidently spelling and grammar errors, and they don't have specific disciplines. Like, I'll show one of them. See, International Journal of Engineering, Basic Sciences, Management, and Social Studies. Means they have got all the disciplines in this world. They are covering the entire gamut of knowledge. This is another website. See, this is a website of Institute for Research Engineers and Doctors. The name itself is weird, right? And they claim that their website is at, their headquarters is at New York, right? But if you go to the website registration of this particular website, you can see that their registration is in Punjab, right? You can see at the bottom of the screen. And this is another organization, Institute of Doctors, Engineers, and Scientists. What kind of organization is that? Doctors, engineers, and scientists. See, and they conduct a lot of predatory conferences, etc. And they offer membership. What kind of membership? Okay. Anyway, regarding these predatory publishers, all of them demand money for publishing, except when they are asking or they are offering free publication in some instances. Very few. But not all journals which require payment are predatory. Please be aware of that, because many journals like PLOS, like Public Library of Science, etc., they are offering very good articles, but with a huge payment. So this is about a brochure of a journal brochure of a conference about, and they are saying that they will publish your article in a UGC CAR listed journal, that is Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research. I'll show at the end of this presentation what is this Journal of Interdisciplinary Cycle Research. Okay. Now, going to, there are some other things also, like, see, this is a publication company called Lakshmi Book Publication, and they are bringing out a journal called Review of Research, and they have got ISSN, and you can see they have claimed about impact factor, and they are claiming an impact factor of 5.7, and in bracket they have put that UIF. I never heard of such a term known as UAF. When I searched for UAF on the internet, I found this particular blog post, Universal Impact Factor, and I found another two. See, these two are the only web pages available in the entire internet explaining this Universal Impact Factor. Only two web pages. You can cross-check that such impact factors, they are fake. You can see many such fake impact factors. One is here, see, global impact factor, and they are asking sponsored for their database, and they are asking for annual membership fee, etc., etc. And this is one another journal impact report. See, actually impact factors are published in journal citation reports, but here they are bringing out a new report known as journal impact report. Just they have removed the term of citation and included the name impact. Here you can see another journal metric known as site factor. See, the journal metric of Scopus database is known as site scope, and the journal metric of Web of Science is known as impact factor. What these guys have done, they have added these two words and made a portmanteau out of it, and that is site factor. And they have used a similar logo of Thomson Reuters. As you can see, their logo very much look like Thomson Reuters logo. What they have done is just change the color. And this is another journal which is international in scope, or at least international in its name, International Journal of Innovative Science and Research and Technology. See the name, Innovative Science and Research Technology. Okay, whatever. But you can see this international journal is showing only the registration fee in INR, that is Indian rupee, and that's only for Indian authors. Again, my question is, why an international journal is displaying only the information for Indian authors? Isn't it international? And here again you can see an impact factor. Here you can see the impact factor is, there is an adjective for this impact factor, SJIF, and they are showing that their indexing partners are Google, Issue, Academia, etc. None of them are indexes or indexing databases. So please don't believe them. And let's see what is the impact factor by them. When I searched the web for the SJIF, I found the certificate here that is SJIF is Scientific Journal Impact Factor, and this they are providing certificate for indexing. See, none of the journals, none of the credible journals will provide any kind of certificate either for indexing or for publishing articles. If you have a certificate for publishing an article, then definitely you can be sure that you have published in a predatory or fake journal. So, and who have signed this SJIF certificate? Please see that it's signed by someone in InnoSpace International. Let's see who is the head of that in the further slides. This is another one. They are also given impact factor 1.543, and they have named their impact factor as alternative impact factor, and they have given the method of calculating their alternative impact factor here. And this is another website of a fake journal with impact factor 4.753, and they also have a certificate by the very same firm, InnoSpace International, that they expanded it to innovative space of scientific research. And this organization is situated in Morocco, and Professor Khala Mosodi has signed this certificate. And please search for Professor Khala Mosodi. You will not find such a person on the entire internet. This is another organization, Global Institute for Scientific Information, and they are providing journal impact factor. See, the original name of the institute instituted by Dr. Eugene Garfield, who devised this impact factor, was Institute for Scientific Information. That was simply ISI, Institute for Scientific Information. But these guys have added a global or prefixed a global to the ISI, and they made their own institute and their own impact factor. So, how is this predatory open access? How it became so common? You might have seen, or you might have got unsolicited mails from many publishers like this. See, I got a mail back in 2014 like this: call for papers in Ethios in the Journal of Indian Management, etc. And they have said that we received index Copernicus value 5.09. Just search for index Copernicus. Index Copernicus is actually a fake database. Okay, and I'm not going to these particular things in shortage of time. Okay, anyway, back in 2015 itself, R. Prasad of the Hindu, who wrote the science and technology column, has pointed out this, that fake journals are proliferating in India, and making India has gone wrong in terms of scientific publishing. Mark G. Schrein is a faculty at Massachusetts, Harvard University, and what he has done, he composed an article, and this article is known as was titled "Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs: The Surgical and Neoplastic Role of Cocoa Extract in Breakfast Cereals." Okay, and he sent this nonsensical, gibberish article to many journals, and what happened was 17 medical journals accepted it. Okay, and they asked to pay him some amount. Anyway, that was the end of the story. But see, this is one of the publisher which accepted that article, and they have assigned the DOI number for that. See, these are some other journals. See the name, the name Lawrence is misspelled here because of ignorance. And this Lawrence Press, they are publishing a Journal of Nursing, and this is the inaugural issue of Journal of Nursing. And you can see a gentleman sitting and smiling there. His name is Travis K. Swenson, means at least claimed to be Travis K. Swenson. And you can see the articles in this particular journal. you can easily find that all the articles are co-authored by this Swenson, that's Travis K. Swenson. That means Travis K. Swenson himself is publishing a journal, and all the articles are publishing by himself. How is it possible? And this is another predatory publisher, IOSR journals. They claim to be a unit of CSIR, but they have no relation to CSIR. They are saying that they are registered independent organization, whatever. CSIR, the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, don't have a unit known as IOSR. And this is the website present day. Actually, this is the website some few years back, and this is the present day website of this particular publisher. And they are saying that submit an article, and the review process will be done in 7 days, and pay the fees and publish within 6 days, and they will dispatch a hard copy to you within 10 days. That means you can publish an article within 13 days. That means less than 2 weeks you can publish an article. And where is the peer review? Everything happens in 7 days. Is it possible? Think of yourself. And they are saying that their journal is indexed by NASA, Crossref, Archive. None of them are indexing agencies. Okay. And they are saying that for any contact, or they are asking to contact them with no a name has been a form has been given here for contacting them, and they are not given any physical address. But recently they are giving their physical address. They claim to have their offices at Qatar, Australia, New York, etc. And the Indian office is at Gurgaon. Sorry. And they are claiming that they are their journals have got impact factor, and the impact factor is calculated by another organization known as African Quality Center for Journals, that is AQCJ. And search for AQCJ on the internet, and you will land on this particular website, and check for the registry of websites. See, this website also don't have any physical address. They only have a form, web form. And check for the contact details of who have registered this website. See, IOSR journals, it has been registered by one Mr. Chetan Sharma, who is in Ghaziabad, Uttar Pradesh. And this AQCJ, that's also registered by this Chetan Sharma with same mailing address. That means you are publishing few journals, and you have made a website, and website for impact factors, and you are assigning impact factors for your own website or your own journals, and you are boasting of them. What a kind of and now, after submitting your PhD thesis, now you will find that many will approach you for publishing articles out of your thesis. See, these are two posters by Lakshmi Book Publication. They are saying that thesis convert into book within 48 hours with USA ISBN. Okay. And they are saying that 15 articles will be derived or from a thesis. And this is nothing known as salami publishing. Means that if you are extracting, or if you are publishing your article which are already published or which are already in public domain, then what's the use of publishing it again? So there are many such publishers out there. My suggestion is you are free to publish in any of these journals, but please don't call it science. That's all. And the research supervisors who may be attending, or the aspiring research supervisors or faculty who are attending this session may be wondering, why should I know all these crooked ways? I'm straightforward. I have not done anything wrong. I'm ethically perfect. See, I don't know how many of you have heard about Frank William Abagnale Jr. There is a film about him, Catch Me If You Can. This is a Steven Spielberg film. Leonardo DiCaprio has done the role of Frank William Abagnale, and Tom Hanks as a detective who is behind him. What is so peculiar about this Abagnale? He was a confidence tricker, a check forger, and imposter. All this during the ages of 15 and 21. And he has got at least 8 identities, including an airline pilot, a physician, a bureau of prisons agent, lawyer, teacher, etc. And he escaped from the police custody twice. Once from a taxiing airliner, that means a aircraft which is moving with the uh, runway. And what is he now? He has got his own company, and that's known as Frank Abagnale Associates. And who is he dealing with? He is associated with FBI for over 40 years. See, he was a fugitive, he was a con artist, but now even FBI is asking or waiting for his services. And he lectures extensively at the FBA Academy on identity theft, cybercrime, fraud, etc. And he is a faculty member of National Advocacy Center, and he is consultant for many organizations, and he refuses to accept payment for any of his government work. See, uh, so what does this mean? If you have to be a consultant, or if you have to be expert, you should know all the ways, or all those bad ways, to identify them very easily. And I know most of you are aware about who is this. This is but none other than Dr. raised to 60. That means Dr. raised to 60 CNR Rao. Why? Because he has got more than 60 honorary doctorates, and uh, he has got more than 82,000 citations. He was the head of the Scientific Advisory Council to Prime Minister, but he was also caught in the issue of plagiarism or uh, dishonesty in articles, only because one of his PhD student has done a control C. That means copying. That's all. And at that time, he suggested that all graduate students should be taught how to communicate in science. They need improvement in writing and related skills. So thank you, Research Council. And today is 12th August, and it's National Librarian Day. Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and you can ask any questions. I'll try to respond to them if I know. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. That was really an amazing presentation on publication in credible journals. You actually began this session with a misconception, that conception which most of us have, that mainly regarding the time of publication, that is from the conceptualization to publishing. Then you moved on to the preprints, the relevance of preprints. Then it was followed by the tools which helps us in publishing. Then regarding citation, referencing tools, and so on. And finally, you gave us alerts on predatory journals and publishers. I would say that most of the participants and researchers would agree with me that the session was not just a lecture or a talk, but it was a real eye opener to most of us. Thank you very much, sir. Now, this platform is open for discussion. You may post your queries in the comment session, and I will be reading out those questions to you, sir, so that you can answer them. Thank you. Before that, I would also give you an information that this feedback link has been posted in the comment section. So kindly fill the feedback forms, and the certificates will be given to all the participants, all the registered participants. Thank you.
You can shoot questions if you have, or if you can post it over the comment box. We can view them and respond to them.
Dear participants, please, if you all have any questions, kindly post those questions in the comment section. Sir is really eagerly, he's waiting for your questions. So kindly.
I think my presentation was so crisp and clear. I think there is no room for questions.
Yes, sir, the session was very much clear, yes. Sir, since we don't have any queries, but they have so much of comments that it was very informative and so on. So with that, I think we'll be moving on to the next part of our webinar. So once again, thank you. Thank you for these eye-opening words, or very much interesting session regarding publication. Thank you all. Now we have come to the end of our webinar. For the vote of thanks, I invite the Dean of Research, Dr. Chako EM. Over to you, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. We are coming to the end of this session. Dear Principal, Reverend Dr. Martin K.A., and dear Chief Guest of today's session, Tony Nilangavil, Manager and Auxiliary Bishop of Thrissur Archdiocese, dear Vice Principals, Heads of the Departments, faculty members, research guides, research students, and researchers from various institutions, and dear speaker, Mr. Sanjo Jose, Librarian, St. Thomas College, Thrissur. As you know, doing a wonderful and significant research is an ambition of all research scholars, including me. We are all capable of conducting high standard research from our institutions, but we are sometimes not able to write with much novelty and in good language. Moreover, sometimes we are not able to publish in reputed journals. We don't know what are the journals, what are the right journals, what are the wrong journals, etc. Throughout this talk, arranged by the Research Council for faculty members and researchers, I think we got much information regarding publication in credible journals. As we know, Sanjo Jose is really blessing to our college, because the Research Council, together with him, conducting research and publication ethics course for researchers all over India. In the last year, we have conducted successfully, and it is recognized by University of Calicut. And in this year also, we are conducting. So Sanjo Jose is the key person behind that. We should focus our publication in Scopus indexed or Web of Science indexed journals, because UGC restricting the publication in Scopus indexed or Web of Science indexed or especially UGC listed journals for the research scholars. So we should be much careful in writing articles with a little plagiarism, because if we have more plagiarism, it will hunt us in future, at least in future. UGC is much vigilant in this matter. UGC is, has given several notifications in this regard. So we should keep all the informations given by Mr. Sanjay Jose throughout this wonderful session. Okay. Today, our beloved manager, Martoni Nilankavil, inaugurated the tag, which shows the keen interest in research and publication in highly reputed journals by our research scholars and faculty members. He always speaks us to publish high quality journal articles in good journals. He always with us, and he always joining with us in such research activities to support, encourage, and lead. So on behalf of Research Council of St. Thomas College, Thrissur, I express sincere thanks to Martoni Nilankavil, the beloved manager. Our principal, Dr. Martin K., is always interested in the growth of research scholars and guides. He initiates and supports us in all respects. On behalf of Research Council, I extend sincere thanks to Father Dr. Martin K. As we experienced, today's resource person was Mr. Sanjo Jose, our librarian. He enriched us with plenty of valuable information to the research community. Surely, he will help us in our research activities. On behalf of Research Council, I express sincere thanks to Mr. Sanjay Jose, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. The participants of the today's session was faculty members, researchers, and research scholars from our institution and the scholars from other institutions. I thank all for you for attending this session, and thank you all once again. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, sir. As one of our teacher from St. Thomas College, Joyce Miss, has commented that, yes, the presentation was clear and the doubts will crop up only when we try to do it practically. Yes, Miss, that is very much true. So let us all try to do it practically and go and disturb us, sir, and get more information regarding publishing. So once again, thank you all for joining this webinar. Thank you.